Hello everyone, welcome to another part of Mastering Burp Suite series. Myself Joseph Simon, I work as an associate security consultant at Redfox Security. So what we'll be doing, learning today is about Burp Suite scanner, what an active scanner is, what a passive scanner is, and we'll be doing a bit of manual exploitation using the repeater. So without wasting any time, let's get into it. So just a quick disclaimer that this video is just for educational purposes only. Please do not do this against a live website or any other environment without any permission. So so that's it. I would like to give you guys a quick overview of what a burp scanner actually is. So a burp scanner is a feature within the Burp Suite designed to automatically detect vulnerabilities in web applications. What it does, it simplifies our testing process by automating the scanning of the HTTP requests and responses to find security issues. So just what I will be doing is I will just showing you how we can scan a particular website. So first what we'll be doing is we'll open a browser and we will be visiting redfox.com. Yeah, so now that we have some sort of request loaded, so over here you can see there are many sites that have been loaded. So over here you can right click over here and look for over there you can find the scan function. So you can configure the scan by clicking it over there. You can do a crawl and audit. You can crawl or you can audit selected item, that is the redfox.com as we have selected. And what we can do is we can even configure the scan, how intensive the scan should be, how long it should be, and what sort of scan is it. Are you passively scanning or actively scanning? We can just configure each and everything over here. We can even adjust the resource pool that we would like to configure. So over here, as you can see, we do have a lot of customization option when it comes to applying a particular scan in the to our target application. Yeah, so whenever we do a particular scan, the vulnerabilities or the issues will be reported over this particular window. You can find what sort of vulnerabilities or like what sort of misconfiguration have been over here. Yeah, so that's it for the Burp Suite scanner. First, what I'll be doing is I'll be giving you a brief about what an active scanning does and what a passive scanner is, and we will be looking at how we can perform an active scan and passive scan for each and every web application or target that we come across. So for just to giving you a brief about active scanning, active scanning, it involves spending or modifying requests to the server. This allows for a more in-depth analysis of the application, right? What it does is actively probes for particular weaknesses. For example, if there might be a particular login page, let's say. So what it will be doing is it will be sending SQL payloads or some sort of modified request, NoSQL, and these types of request to the particular server to look for potential vulnerabilities that it might find. So this particular active scanning is very time consuming. So what we typically do is we take a particular module, for example login functionality or some sort of endpoint which we might think might be vulnerable. So what we do is we particularly put that particular module to scan. Yeah, so how we do that, because as this takes a lot of time as well, and or it might be the case when we put the whole application in scanning, there might be a case that the application may go down. So it is always advised to like select a particular module which you do want to scan and do the active scanning accordingly. So how you do the active scanning is you go to the target tab, over which you select your target which you do want to put in active scan, and then you will navigate to actively scan this host. So as I mentioned previously, so if you want to select a particular module, you will go to its sitemap, and for example, if we will take this WP content as the module that we want to scan. So what we can do is just click on WP content and then actively scan this particular branch. Yeah, so what this will do is this will only specifically target active scanning for this particular branch itself and nothing else. So yeah, that's it for the active scanning. Yeah, so talking about the passive scan, the passive scan is almost like monitoring the network traffic without sending any additional request. It analyzes the responses from the server for vulnerabilities that it might find in the responses of the of the request, like responses provided by the server to us. So what it does is it will typically look for a missing security error or some sort of configuration error, for example, if the server version is disclosed or something like that. So it will be looking for that sort of vulnerabilities. Yeah, so some common vulnerabilities that the passive scanning can identify include JavaScript libraries, insecure cookie attributes, potential cross-site scripting, or cross-site request forgery, CSRF, that is. So yeah, these are the sort of vulnerabilities that it might find while passively scanning this particular application. So again, so what we can do over here is you can for like passively scanning this particular application, you can go to navigate to the, you can select your target and then go over there. You can again configure your scan according to your own will, like as you wish, customize the scan over here, or you could just passively scan or crawl this particular request by just clicking over here. So once we have passively scanned this host, so there will be a task created over in the dashboard. So you might be able to view what sort of what is the current status of the task created, and the vulnerabilities that it may have found will be in the issue activity section, or you can go to the target and look for the vulnerabilities specified to that particular target itself. Yeah, for the time being, what I'll be doing is I will be stopping this request. I think it's already finished passively scanning, so I will be deleting this. Yeah, so now we have discussed what an active scanning, how can we put a particular target to an active scan and do a passive scan over there. So now what we will be doing is we will be doing a manual testing by using the repeater. So before that, what I will like to do is we do have our own lab which we have set up. Yeah, so one, we have already loaded this lab. So what we'll be doing is we'll be logging into this using the credentials. Yeah, so yeah, we have already logged in, right? So what we'll be doing is we'll be visiting the Burp's login request. And to just to give you guys an overview, so what manual testing looks like, we are going to, yeah, so what I'll be doing over here is I'll be just explaining to you what a HTTP request and response looks like. Yeah, so I have sent this particular request to the repeater. So yeah, so as you can see, I have already sent this request, forwarded this request. So as you can see, I will just explaining the components of the request and responses, HTTP request and responses. So this is called HTTP method. There are many HTTP methods. This usually tells the server of what sort of execution or what sort of implementation of this request should be done. For example, if it is a GET request, we are typically sending GET request to retrieve information or some sort of data, or when we do a POST request, then we are typically sending data to the server. And when we are trying to delete using the delete method, then we are trying to delete some sort of like some sort of thing, some sort of data from the server. So that is what method does. It just gives an implementation of what the response should do, request should do. So over here, this is the URI or the request control this is the request URL that is calling to the server, that is like located in the server. This is the resource that we are trying to reach in the server side, and this is the HTTP version over which this particular request is running. This is the from host to the connection close. This is what we call as a HTTP request headers. So these are the header parameters that are mentioned in the request, and this is the body parameter, this part. So a body parameter usually contains data, some sort of data that we will be sending it to the server. And over here you can see, visit the status code, you can see the status code. Okay, so what status code tells us is what happened after the request that we have sent, what is the response that we received. For example, if it is a 200 status code, it usually suggests that it is a success. If it is 300 or 301, it suggests that it is some sort of redirection. 400 means that you are querying a particular resource is wrong or should not be accessible. For example, 400 is a bad request and 401 is a unauthorized request, so you are not authorized to access that particular endpoint or that particular resource. So yeah, 400 is, and 500 is used for server side something. If something has gone wrong with the server side, so like for that 503 500 error I use internal server error or not. So yeah, that's it for this particular part, and this is the server header response headers which have been returned to us. So over here you can see some version numbers of the servers and what are the headers that they have configured over the server configuration. Yeah, so this is the body parameter, body of the response as well. So yeah, that's it. That's just giving you guys a brief idea of what a HTTP request and response looks like. Yeah, so what we'll be doing is I will be showing what are the key features in the request, like repeater tab. So repeater tab is usually used for editing the request. You can modify any sort of parameter like HTTP method, the URL, the body parameters, header parameters, whatever that may be. You might be able to change that and look for certain type of what are the responses that the server provides for it when it is presented with different types of scenarios. So for that, for example, if you put a particular SQL payload in the body of the in the parameter username, yeah, if you so how does this particular application respond with it saying just login failed, password not matched. So yeah, so we will be looking for some sort of error or some sort of information is retrieved over this or not. Yeah, that is what we are looking for. Yeah, and for like it might be the case that yeah, for in the repeater tab we can like if we hit about 10 requests, we do have each and every history of each and every request that we have sent. So it might be helpful us to to look for logs or particular payloads that we have sent and look for the particular responses that we might have received. Yeah, so yeah, so what I'll be doing now is I will be like discussing to you guys about the practical use cases of this particular of the repeater tab. So the practical use cases may include the like input validation testing. As I said, you can test for SQL injection or cross-site scripting. You can manipulate the input so you can see how the application reacts with the unexpected values. We can even check for session management. If the session token, we can remove the session token and send the request. So to look if they particularly process that particular request or they just provide us with an unauthorized request response. Sorry, we can use this for API testing as well. It is very useful for RESTful API testing. Yeah, so that are some of the practical use cases as well. So what I'll be doing now is, as we have already logged on to this particular application, what I'll be doing is I will be showing you, demonstrating you how repeater is like useful to us. It makes our job easier. What we'll be doing is we will be using this file upload functionality. um, Yeah, so what we'll be doing is we will be manipulating it in the response repeater itself instead of just going uploading the file again and again, which is a tedious task. If you want to look for a particular extension, bypassing a certain extension that you So it is not possible to create a file again and again with a different extension and then trying to send it again. So instead of that, what we are going to do is we are going to be manipulating it in the request itself. In the we will be intercepting the request, upload request, and then we will be changing it over there to look if we are able to bypass this particular upload functionality or not. Yeah. So what we'll be doing is we will be just going over there and intercept on. We will be turning the intercept on, and we will be uploading this particular file. So yeah, so we have intercepted this particular request. We will be sending this to the repeater tab. Yeah, so over here you can see we do have a PHP script over here, and we have file type as PHP. Now if we send that, it might be the case that it might be successful or it might not. So let's just, yeah, I think this is successful in the first try itself. The PHP file, which should not be accepted by usually the web application, because it might contain malicious scripts that we might be able to get an RCE or web shell or reverse shell, whatever that may be. So what I'll be demonstrating is how we can perform different test cases. For example, the test cases we will be performing is double extension, null payload. We can even change the script of whatever it is inside. So what we do is we can just go for JPG. If that JPG is the only file extension that is being accepted over here, we will be just looking for the ways to bypass it. We can even do the null payload thing. So for the null payload, what we do is we usually put PHP first and then put a null payload, so that the backend interprets it as the PDF. Sorry, PDF. If PDF is the extension that is accepted, and we will be putting PDF and then sending the request. So if the server just looks for the last particular extension, and it stores that, and whenever the time at the time of execution, it just takes the first part apart, because the next part is null payload. So it is spread it's as hi.php only, the name of the file. So during the execution, if it does only check for hi.php and it gives us an execution, then that is a vulnerability in the web application. So over here you can see that we have already bypassed this by using there is no sort of security mechanism implemented in the server side to validate if this particular file is to be uploaded or not. Burp Suite scanning, active scanning, passive scanning. We have already discussed of how do we how do we manipulate the data in the repeater, and what are the test cases that we can perform, like for file upload as well. Practical demonstration of that. Yeah, so if you did find this video very helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more content like this. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I would like to hear them. So until next time, keep exploring and stay curious.